If you are successful, it is because somewhere, sometime, someone gave you a life or an idea that started you in the right direction. Always remember that you are indebted to life until you help some less fortunate person, just as you were helped. But we also believe in taking risks, because that's how you move things along. We have to be careful in how we use this light shined on us. You can have the best vaccines for a woman or her child, but if you can't get her to come and get them, then they won't work. All lives have an equal value. I care much more about saving the lives of mothers and babies than I do about a fancy museum somewhere. I think it's very important that we instill in our kids that it has nothing to do with their name or their situation that they're growing up in, it has to do with who they are as an individual. It is still just unbelievable to us that diarrhea is one of the leading causes of child deaths in the world. After a number of years dating, we decided we were good partners. We would be driving down the street in a place like Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of Congo, and started to see, my gosh, the only people that have shoes are men. Why does that woman have a baby in her belly and one on her back, and she's carrying a huge load of bananas? You start to ask these questions. In the developing world, it's about time that women are on the agenda. For instance, 80% of small subsistence farmers in Sub-Saharan Africa are women, and yet all the programs in the past were predominantly focused on men. I learn in a different way. I learn experientially. I think the Americans need to understand that a lot of times the children are bored in school, and that is why they are not staying in. I'm wholehearted about whatever I do. Women around the world should have a tool that helps them plan their pregnancy. Kids are falling through the cracks and nobody notices it. That to me is what's wrong with the school system. I want to live as private a life as I can because of our children. We talk a lot in our home together about where we're going, what I'm doing. Government funding that's coming from the United States is making a huge difference on the ground in the developing world. It's really palpable, it's making a huge difference, saving lives. The premise of this foundation is one life on this planet is no more valuable than the next. We started this mostly from an intellectual place. I realized that the only way to get into a good college was to be valedictorian or salutatorian. So that was my goal. Having children made us look differently at all these things that we take for granted, like taking your child to get a vaccine against measles or polio. There's a false perception that women in Africa somehow don't love their babies the way we do, don't grieve their loss the way we would. That is simply not true. There are absolutely lots of teachers who are trying to come into the profession, but they are not attracted enough to say, I'm going to switch careers. To do it, or they are often not retained. Because the salaries and the compensation aren't there to make it happen. Microsoft certainly makes products for the Macintosh. I'm constantly saying to myself, I'm lucky I was born in the United States. My background was computer science and business school, so eventually I worked my way up where I was running product groups, development, testing, marketing, user education. You can't save kids just with vaccines. It's the mark of a backward society, or a society moving backward, when decisions are made for women by men. If you want to lift up humanity, empower women. It is the most comprehensive, pervasive, high-leverage investment you can make in human beings. If you don't set your own agenda, somebody else will. If I didn't fill my schedule with things I felt were important, other people would fill my schedule with things they felt were important. Poverty is not being able to protect your family. Poverty is not being able to save your children when mothers with more money could. And because the strongest instinct of a mother is to protect her children, poverty is the most disempowering force on earth. When people can't agree, it's often because there is no empathy, no sense of shared experience. If you feel what others feel, you're more likely to see what they see. Then you can understand one another. Then you can move to the honest and respectful exchange of ideas that is the mark of a successful partnership. That's the source of progress. That is why we women have to lift each other up, not to replace men at the top of the hierarchy, but to become partners with men in ending hierarchy. What extreme poverty really means is that no matter how hard you work, you're trapped. You can't get out. Your efforts barely matter. You've been left behind by those who could lift you up. Contraceptives are the greatest life-saving, poverty-ending, women-empowering innovation ever created. Shaming women for their sexuality is a standard tactic for drowning out the voices of women who want to decide whether and when to have children. If you invest in a girl or a woman, you're investing in everyone else. What I realized much later, paradoxically, is that by trying to fit in, I was strengthening the culture that made me feel like I didn't fit in. In fact, no country in the last 50 years has emerged from poverty without expanding access to contraceptives. Never sacrificing your self-respect. That is power. Overcoming the need to create outsiders is our greatest challenge as human beings. If there is any meaning in life greater than connecting with other human beings, I haven't found it. People can be equal but still be isolated, not feeling the bonds that tie them together. Equality without connection misses the whole point. The goal is for everyone to be connected. The goal is for everyone to belong. The goal is for everyone to be loved. Love is what lifts us up. Gender bias does worldwide damage. It's a cause of low productivity on farms. It's a source of poverty and disease. It's at the core of social customs that keep women down. Sometimes all that's needed to lift women up is to stop pulling them down. And most of us fall into one of the same three groups: the people who try to create outsiders, the people who are made to feel like outsiders, and the people who stand by and don't stop it. Today in the US, we're sending our daughters into a workplace that was designed for our dads, set up on the assumption that employees had partners who would stay home to do the unpaid work.